everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Natural Edge. With me today, I have two OCB natural pros that I'm excited to get to know, and you should be excited to get to know them too, because they're going to be sharing some of their pro tips on their road to the 20th year anniversary of the Yorton. Now, in case you didn't know me, my name is Aubrey Worek. I am an OCB Bikini Pro. And along with Sully and Jody, I co-host The Natural Edge on the regular. And I have the luxury today to get to know you ladies after Insta-stalking you a little bit and getting very much inspired by your physiques. You guys are good eye candy, but I know that there is more than meets the eyes. And I have some questions. All right. And I know you guys know the answer to all of this, but I think what's going to be really helpful today is that you guys are just kind of sharing your raw and real experience with where you are in your journey, just a couple weeks out. And I think this is going to be really inspirational for our viewers and our listeners. So without further ado, I want to introduce Kymber de la Cruz, this little wave, and Susanne Shaw. So, Kymber, you are a bikini pro, and Susanne, you are a physique pro.
Correct.
Now, two totally different categories, but Susanne, I want to start this off with you. First and foremost, when did you become a pro? And then I want to follow it up with, what do you wish people would know outside of this category? What's like any myths that you can dispel for us with physique? I think that's an intimidating category.
Yeah, sure. So I have been a pro since 2016, so a long run for me. Yeah. And I think when people think of women's physique, the biggest thing that they think of is it's about being the most muscular and the leanest. And it is a lot more than that. There's a lot about symmetry and shape and stage presence. But I think why I love the division so much is it really is about embracing femininity and the strength of a woman. And I think that really comes across in a beautiful way with women's physique.
Now, did you always start off in physique? Was that the first?
No, I actually got my first pro card in a figure. And my second one was physique, although I also competed in pro bikini. That was my first Yorton Cup I did, was pro bikini as well. And then I have a pro card in another federation as well. So I also compete fit body, which is a physique and heels.
Ooh. Well, I don't know if you know my motto, everything's better in heels. So I would like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I love it. I know.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, so that has been kind of like your climb up the ladder with your like muscle building career. Now, Kymber, you have such an amazing physique as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. How long have you been competing? When did you become pro? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I started competing in 2021. I became a pro in February of 2022. I actually got my pro card in figure, and I actually competed at my first Yorton Cup in figure and my second Yorton Cup in wellness. So this is actually my first year competing bikini. I competed my first time in bikini in March at the Immortal Muscle.
Oh my gosh, you guys are hybrids.
Yeah.
This is so cool. And I love how this worked out. So maybe, Kymber, you could speak to this a little bit. So somebody who's new at listening, they're like, how do these ladies just morph back and forth between these different categories? It has a lot to do with posing, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. It really does. And that's kind of, I think for a long time, I was unsure if bikini was going to work for me because I am lower body dominant.
I have, and then just saying, I've quad envy.
Oh, thank you. But I wasn't sure if I was going to fit there or not. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And it went well. I ended up winning that competition. So, and I felt really comfortable there. And I felt like it was a good place. So I thought, it's just some posing tweaks and it made a big difference there. And I really felt like at home in bikini. So.
Okay. That's good to know. Oh gosh, you guys are like sending me down all these other questions that aren't on my paper. Well then, Susanne, okay, since you guys are just like, oh my gosh, like mutants that you can morph into all this, I'm so fascinated. So Susanne, then you feel most aligned with Physique. Is that correct? Or like you feel like you can go back and forth?
I do feel like I can go back and forth. I will say actually Bikini was the hardest one for me. I've been with my husband since I was 16, so like the whole like cutesy, flirty aspect of Bikini was a huge stretch for me, that my posing instructor wanted me to give a go. And I actually am really grateful she pushed me to, because I think it added another element to my physique posing, and gives me just a different presentation than a lot of the other girls I go up against.
Well, that's a good nugget there, because I think a lot of times people, they think with Bikini specifically that it's almost like a personality contest. I get this a lot from newbies where they're like, well, I just don't have the personality for Bikini. And I'm like, well, it's not a personality contest, but it is a matter of like what you want to work your own natural personality, or the stage version of you, and how that translates. So it's not, I think sometimes when I talk to like bikini virgins, they're very intimidated by that category because they think they see a lot of the embellishments, and that can kind of throw them off. But I guess what I'm hearing from you, Susanne, is like it, even like you entered that, and I bet it like just made your posing with the other categories better.
It really did. Yeah, it definitely made my transitions and my energy extremely different on stage. So I'm really glad I was encouraged to do that, and want to tell other people, don't be afraid. It's just part of what I love about this sport is it constantly helps us grow and become better versions of ourselves. And stepping out of your comfort zone makes you do that. And that's what Bikini did when I gave that a go.
Wow. I want to ask you guys both the same question, since I'm so curious about this. As we know that each category where the judges are looking for symmetry and a variation of muscle density, leanness, where you gals sit right now, what do you think do you diet the same for each category, or is there something different? Sorry,
go ahead, Kymber.
I'll start with Kymber first. Sorry about that.
To be honest with you, it's been pretty similar for all three, and I think I've kind of learned and adapted as I've gone. I think my first prep looked a lot different than they look now, as I've kind of learned what I can. I definitely have like a lot of food sensitivities, so I've had to kind of, work around those and figure out things, but I'm a pretty routine person, so my diet does not really change a whole lot depending on the category. And as far as even like my goal is to conditioning, they've been pretty similar. Definitely not as lean as when I was trying to do figure. That was definitely when I was trying to get the leanest.
Yeah.
But I struggled in figure. I could never get the size there. So
okay. What about you, Susanne?
So I would say like my lifting is the same no matter what division I'm planning on competing in, but I do change my cardio based on what I'm trying to achieve for stage. And I eat pretty similar as well, especially during off season and then at the beginning of my cut. As I get a little bit closer to stage, I do definitely change my macros and calories differently depending on what division I'm going into.
So with Physique though, I feel like that's the ultimate leanness. You're the most shredded. What do you think about that? I mean, is it a matter of like, how do you feel right now?
I actually feel pretty good. I did a mock peak week last week, and I was like, oh man, I'm tired.
Yeah.
But this week I feel great again. But yeah, you are correct. It is definitely the most lean out of all the categories offered to women. But it is this hard balance, because what people don't realize is that you can get yourself super lean and look flat. And so it's about getting really lean and then refilling in a way that you look hard and tight so that you don't spill over or come in depleted as well. Honestly, that's one of the challenges that I like about Physique, is it does take a lot into thinking about what I'm eating, and how it's impacting my body.
Wow. So ladies, again, both the same question. For the Yorton, I know that it was really important for me to have my coach with me backstage. I trained for the Yorton the last 2 years in a row, and I felt like it was really helpful for me to have that person there. Do you gals coach yourselves? Do you have a coach? Will this person be there that day? Kymber.
I actually am self-coached. I have been self-coached the whole time. Typically, my husband goes backstage with me. He's been a great supporter. This particular Yorton, so I live in California, so it's quite a trip for me.
Yeah.
But it's usually just me and my husband. But this time I'm taking both of my kids, and my parents are coming, and my brother's flying in from New York. So we're doing a whole thing.
Wow.
So this year I'll be backstage by myself because they'll all be out there watching. But,
You got the
the
chills.
support
That's
makes
gonna
it
be
all
so
worth it. Yeah, I'm so
fun.
excited.
All right.
So
So yeah, you're just feeling it. You're feeling
I'm
it.
ready. Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And I really give you a lot of
Yeah.
notes, coach yourself. What
Mhm.
that accountability piece is as
Yeah,
important.
I've always just been the kind of person that, like, since I was young, has pushed myself harder than anybody else could. Like, I
Hmm.
cried the first time I got a B in school, not
Okay.
because my parents were mad at me, but just because I expected more. And so that's just kind of the person I've always been. Is I
Yeah.
just will hold myself more accountable than anybody else will, anyways.
Well, it sounds like you're designed for the sport then.
It's been a great fit.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. Susanne, what about you with your
So you're
coaching?
gonna laugh. I'm also self-coached.
Randomly found these
Yes.
so many similarities. You guys are so compatible. Okay. Okay, so you're self
Um, Yeah, I'm self-coached. I did try a coach for a couple of years. He was great, but unfortunately, it was John Yost who passed away recently. But although I loved working with him, I did realize after how much I missed self-coaching.
Mm,
Like I said, I get really into how my body changes and transitions. Like there's
yes.
some times where I literally will eat food and then take photos every hour and compare the photos side by side to kind of see how this refeed goes. So I kind of get a little obsessive over and I really enjoy that piece. So
Hmm.
I love self-coaching. I also love the fact that I have the ability, and I'm sure Kymber, if you've been self-coaching for a long time, to really just like compartmentalize, like, this isn't me. I can look at my body
Mhm.
from
Yes.
a judge's perspective
Yes.
instead of just being like, oh, I have this fat right here, and then like fixating on it, or oh, my shoulder caps aren't what they need to be, and
Yeah.
fixating on that. I can kind of do it from an outside perspective, which is something I really love about myself. And so getting to self coach gives me that opportunity. Most of the time, I do have a best friend who comes to all my shows with me and comes backstage. We're kind of a dynamic duo. But I do also do shows alone as well. And really, I both work for me. It's just, I put myself in the headspace that I need to be that day.
Wow, I love that, gals. And that's really inspirational. And that is definitely a pro mindset and a champion mindset, I feel. You both have an overwhelming sense of self belief. And I'm sure that you worked on that. Perhaps you were born with some of that, but to really, really work on that, something that took me a while to embrace, I think, in this sport. Now, I grew up as a dancer. So it was a different way that I viewed the world. And it wasn't until really getting into the sport where I was like, I am not my body, I have a body. And that's where I think, especially new people coming in, what I'm picking up from you, Susanne, maybe you too, Kymber, is like, all right, listen, I'm not degrading myself. I can be very, with the appropriate discretion, I can assess myself to heighten my experience, not to like put me down. But you guys both were kind of like nodding where it was like the obsession piece. So there's a fine line. And I think that to be completely transparent with people, it's like, you do have to mentally check yourself. And there does come a point where you do have to take a break. So, with that, I want to hear from you guys. We're going to go to a pro tip right now. Like, what is your advice for anyone out there if it's their first Yorton? Like, they're listening to this and they're like, this is my first Yorton, and they have a coach and they're kind of in their head. Do you have any special tips for them that can maybe give them more of like this bird's eye view, Kymber?
Well, I think when I first started bodybuilding, the biggest mistake I made was I was like focusing on the end, right? I was like focusing on the show. I want to make it to the show. And then I'd say, oh, I can't wait till the show got here. But I've really grown to realize that it's not about the show. It's about the journey. And
Yeah.
if you can't appreciate, like she was saying, be able to look at it and take these pictures and look and go, wow, look at these changes I've made. Look at this thing. You know what? This last weekend, I just went on a trip to Vegas for my brother-in-law's birthday. And I thought, I just went to Vegas and I went to dinner and I didn't eat dinner with them. I went to, these things that we never thought we would be capable of doing, and to appreciate the fact that your brain is capable of overcoming all these barriers that you think, and that's where your focus should be. Focus on the journey and what you're doing, and the end is great, and the show day, that's great, it's wonderful, but that's not what this is about. Enjoy the process, truly enjoy it, because that's what makes this sport so special.
That is really great advice. It is. And it has built you to become stronger and just, again, see
Yep,
things so differently than I think when people first start out on their journey to the
absolutely.
stage.
Yeah.
Suzanne, do you have a pro tip in mind?
So I do second what Kymber says. So many people do get focused on the show, and to me, that's definitely not what it's about anymore. You can't predict who's going to show up. And although the judges really do their best to be non-biased and stick to the criteria, the reality is that everyone subconsciously is going to be attracted to different things, different physiques. Their eyes going to go to different parts of the body. And so no matter how hard they try and how much they train, they might not see you as the best, but that shouldn't be what it's about. It should be about being a better version of yourself than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
And so I totally second what Kymber says. It has to be about the journey. Competing, I actually started competing because I was living in daily chronic pain, and getting my health under control is really what allowed me to live essentially pain free, unless I do something stupid. But what I wasn't expecting was the emotional piece. I didn't realize that I didn't truly love myself. And this sport has shown me that I really have become a woman that I love and that I'm proud of. And that's what this is about to me. So if I place top 5 or top 3 or win, like, yeah, that's an extra bonus to validate all the hard work I put in. But
Mhm.
that is not even why I compete at this point anymore. It's really just to continue to grow as a human being and become a better person for myself, because that allows me to be a better person for other people.
Wow. Snaps to that. I love that. I mean, you guys are both on like the spiritual quest. And I think, to use this sport as a vehicle for that personal up levelment. And that's why you both have been in it year after year, where sometimes we see athletes, they come and go so quickly. But it does. I mean, for me, it's like that's why I've never even tried drugs, because I don't quit anything. Like I started in this sport and like I'm not a quitter. But I think there's value, however, in taking breaks. So all right, so you guys you're gunning for the Yorton. You're gonna have this awesome show experience. We're gonna meet in person in 16 days because I'm gonna be there hunting you guys down, hopefully. Where do you see yourself after that? Like, what's the post show look like, Kymber, for you?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I can't see myself quitting. No, this is my life. I'm going to continue. And I'm not exactly sure. Am I going to go right into another show? Probably not. I have some other things. Like I'm a teacher. And I'm really focusing on just kind of building up my classes right now. I'm putting a lot of energy into that. But, I think you'll likely see me again at the Yorton in 2026, hopefully. I
Okay.
did take last year off. I had a lot of stuff going on. So I am coming off of a year off.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of ready to go at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's important. Now, okay, so you're a school teacher. What grades do you teach?
Yeah. I teach high school, so I actually teach high school weight training.
Wow.
Love
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, I was looking at your Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the material that you have there. So that's great to teach young people
Yeah.
the benefits.
Yeah, so I teach my classes about all the nutrition and exercise
Mhm.
science and all that good stuff.
Oh, I
So,
love that. That's
yeah,
really
it's a lot of fun.
okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Suzanne, how about you? What does it look like post Yorton?
So I am planning on competing in the OCB Masters Championship in Maryland in October. So I will
I'll
just
be seeing you
continue.
twice.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a little bit of a stage junkie. I will say my biggest
yeah.
weakness when it comes to competing is taking time off. I
Yeah.
love being in prep. I love being on stage. So that's definitely my fail when it comes to
Mhm.
competing.
Yeah, I feel that. So I got my pro card with the OCB in 2020. 22. And it was like from that point on, I felt like I was like in prep. And the last show that I did was the Conquer, in May. And my body, I was like done. Like you, I think Susanne, you were saying you're like, you did a mock peak week. You were just tired. For those people out there, sometimes people think like, oh, you're going to be hungry. No, you just tired. Like it's not even like I look at food. I don't know if you guys feel like this, but like I was looking at food and I was like, that is not even going to give me energy right now. So I'm not even tempted when, I get closer to a show. Now, for me, I knew I had to just like check out and really get back into feeling like myself. So I know for me, I got kind of burnt out. Have you guys ever experienced being burnt out? Like, honestly, what's like the most challenging moments of your bodybuilding career, Kymber?
Oh gosh. Actually, this last show, the training that I did for the Immortal Muscle in March was probably the most difficult prep. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life. I lost a really close friend of mine during that time. And, you just sometimes go into autopilot mode and you're just like doing the stuff you need to do because you need to do it, but you're going through the motions. And I don't even know how I made it to this stage, honestly, looking back at it, but I did. But there definitely is that burnout gets very real when you start getting in the middle of it and you go, wait, why am I doing this again? I can't even remember why this feels so important. But I think that's all part of it is just the discipline that comes along with it, that, you know what, even when you feel that burnout, like you keep pushing. You signed up for this and you got to commit. And
Finish it.
but like you said, it is important afterwards to be able to go, okay, my body does need a break. And I need to take a little time to build myself up and get back to it when I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Suzanne? In terms of, have you ever experienced burnout?
I actually don't feel like I have.
What? No.
Yeah, no, I
Tell
mean,
us
I
your
just, when I'm
ways.
done with my season, I reverse out, I rebuild, and then I just start cutting again. And again, I think part of this has to do with my why behind why I do it. I've gone through a lot of really challenging things during prep. I unfortunately did lose my nephew to cancer near one of my first, maybe my second year competing. And that was like the one thing that I could control, right? Right early on in my career, I realized that you can control what you can, but you have to let go of what you can't. And that whole experience really made me embrace that. So since that, every time I do have another major hiccup that I'm having to push through, last year, my soul dog got really, really sick. It was 4 months of exhausting care with him. And on top of that, I got hacked and had $7,000 stolen from me. So it was a really long, challenging time. And then the day before I got on stage, I got norovirus and was vomiting, and I still did it. And honestly, I was super proud. And that actually gave me more energy and motivation. It was like, wow, most people would have been like, hey, I'm done. I know I paid. I'll take the loss. I'll come back later. But I was like, you know what? I know it sounds weird, but I really felt like my dog wouldn't want me to give up. So I was like, I'm going to keep going for him. And I did. And I was super proud of it. And just other hardships that I've gone through, I feel like every time I'm like, I'm doing this because I can make that person proud. And this is what I can control. And it gives me a lot of peace in life because there's so much in life we can't control. And so it's like, all right, I'm just going to keep pushing. And it kind of fuels me more than helps me feel burned out.
That is so powerful. Everyone listening, I say this a lot to my clients. Now, predominantly I coach lifestyle clients, but sometimes eventually they might want to do a show because they've seen it as, one of my hobbies. And understanding your why and like really taking that deep dive, because that's going to root you into perseverance. And that is really powerful. I think it's so helpful for you gals as you share these stories of kind of like the reality. It's because our social media is our beautiful vision board. It's our highlight reel. And, I can go on and I want everybody watching to follow you. You guys have beautiful galleries in your Instagram, and just getting to know you. You both have amazing spirit and energy, and I can relate to both of you from the standpoint of finishing what you start, not giving up, and strengthening that discipline muscle just day after day till it just becomes that's all you know. So I think that is so great. One other thing that I wanted to say though is what do you so we're talking about like burnout, but I kind of want to just touch upon one more question before we end on like a really happy note. Because I think this is important, is what is like your darkest day, the voice inside of your head that when you go on Instagram, and I don't know if you guys do this, I don't, where if I'm like, man, I'm self-conscious about my quads and I just looked at Susanne and Kymber's quads and what's the point? Why am I even doing this, right? But what do you guys have that? Because I know a lot of people really do. Like I say, the devil's in the doubt. What is that dark voice say to you? And what do you say back to parent it?
I've definitely dealt with a lot of that. It's funny because actually this prep, I kind of this summer, that's why I got rid of my other page. I kind of don't go on social media
Oh,
anymore.
okay.
It's made a huge difference because now I'm comparing me to me only, which is what ultimately we should be doing in this sport, right? Looking at our own growth. And also, you know, as a teacher, this is something that I deal with kids all the time that are comparing themselves to other people. So it's something that I'm constantly telling other people that like, look, this is not, you look at you and all we need to, you look at your own growth and your own progress. And I need to remind myself of that as well, that it doesn't matter what anybody else looks like. I was actually the other day looking at pictures from when I first started and I went, I have no idea my body has changed so much within the course of these 5 years, you know? So you have to take the victories and look at, you know, how far you've come. It doesn't matter where anybody else is. You don't know where they started and
Yeah.
what they've done and what their journey looks like. And your journey, you know, you might just be starting. So you have to look at it that way and just keep moving forward. That's the only way we can go. So
Thank you for sharing that. Yes.
yeah,
Comparison, it's the thief of joy, but
it is.
I think it's part of the human condition too. So,
Yeah.
Suzanne.
Yeah, I'll second that. So I definitely have to remind myself of the real reason I do this. You know, when you're scrolling, and especially because I struggle taking significant build time off, like I'll watch these other girls and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 2 years. And it looks like you put on 17 pounds of muscle and like I can fit in your quad at stage, right? Like, what am I doing? And if anyone hasn't gotten into the sport, it is an expensive hobby. And I'm like, I'm spending all this money and I'm never going to be a world champion, right? And then I'm like, wait, why am I going to say never, right? Like, you do never know. You don't know what you're going to bring to the stage that day and what they're going to bring. But at
Yes.
the end of the day, I really do this to continue to keep myself as healthy as I can. That's why I compete naturally. I do it to continue to live pain free and to push myself emotionally. And I do also remind myself that social media is the highlight reel. And there's plenty of times where I've scared myself about another competitor. And then I get there and see them in person. And I'm like, that was in my head. I got this, right? So yeah, I mean, we all do it. It's human nature.
And I think that's great advice, especially for new folks coming to this. I mean, these are common thoughts. And I think that as long as you can, again, just take that time, take a breath and parent those thoughts, then you will have a long career with OCB for sure. Gals, you two are just beautiful people from the outside in, and I want to thank you for your energy today. Let's see. I want to end with one last little question for both of you. You guys shared some great tips, your great perspective, everything like that. But we're going to go with this one here. Show day rituals. Kymber, do you have anything like that's a ritual for you? Like you just spin around in a circle 5 times and do a high kick and you're like, yes.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually boring. I don't really have any
Okay.
rituals for show day. I
Okay.
just I'm usually very, very nervous. It doesn't matter how confident I feel going into the show. As soon as show day gets here, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to throw up.
Oh, you
So
do?
I still get really nervous every time I get on stage.
I'm going to give you one of my rituals then in a second.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe
let's
you
hear
can
it.
try it and tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Suzanne, do you have any before I give away my top secrets?
Yeah, sure. So when I first started competing, I would always do plyo squats in heels. That was like my thing.
You're jumping
Plyo
in heels?
squats.
You are
Yeah.
jumping in heels.
But then I had multiple people be like, what if you break your ankle before you get on stage? So that ritual has gone away.
This coming from the woman that was like, I don't know, bikini wasn't my thing, girl. If you are jumping in heels, I beg to differ.
For the past few years, I've made a playlist every season, and that kind of is to amp me up. But this year, I decided to take it to a whole new level. I'm really big into visualization. I've done a lot of research about the actual science behind visualization. So I actually wrote out an entire visualization for what it's going to feel like to be backstage, on stage, get called out to do one of the top 5 routines, get called out for my placement. And although we don't get to choose our music, I did put it to the music that I would have chosen if I was able to. And I am in the habit of listening to that 15 to 30 minutes every day. And sometimes I listen to it for the whole 2 hours. I'm at the gym and posing. And I plan on listening to it as much as possible on show day before I get on stage.
Oh my gosh. So I can relate to you so much, Susanne. So here's the deal though, because we're pretty much out of time. I can't give you all my rituals because Susanne, like I can relate to you. I have so many different things because I guess there's this huge side of me that's super woo woo. Kymber, since this is what I feel for you. Like what I really love is do you know what tapping is? EFT tapping? Like, have you ever done tapping?
Oh, like, yeah.
Yeah, the emotional freedom technique.
Okay.
So right under your collarbones, this is called the E27 points, but like I will tap and here it just like dissipates that energy. I want you to think of it's like a gorilla and you're like, call it action.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you my tapping whenever.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, so that's like a quick tip because but thanks for sharing that. I think that's so cool. But I hate to end this because I have more questions, but I had so much fun with both of you. So Kymber, if people want to follow you on social media because you have great content and from an education standpoint, where can they follow?
Yeah. I am the Shreducator on Instagram. And I also have that on TikTok as well.
Okay.
We're just kind of getting going with it. Yeah.
Great. Well, best of luck on the socials for that. And how about you, Susanne?
Thank you.
So my Instagram handle is suzanne.d.shaw. And I am wishy-washy with my social media. Sometimes I'm all in and I'm giving all this inspirational stuff. And then sometimes I just disappear and there's no rhyme or reason to it. But still come follow me because when I'm on, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I get it. Well, that's great, ladies. I wish you both the best of luck at the Yorton. I have no doubt in my mind you guys are going to bring it. I can't freaking wait to see you on stage and to hopefully meet in person. And again, I just want to wish you, as the rest of our audience, to stay natural, stay safe, train hard, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.